Like Natasha tweeted and was just saying a bunch about pride and how proud she was of this team. Have you kind of had similar emotions the last couple days, and how do you balance that with a very painful ending?
In the BA and WW, no one anticipated it. A player who battled to remain on the team for her first 2 seasons, questioning every shot she made and secretly fearing that her release date was today. Then, practically overnight, everything was different. Lexie Hull not only underwent the greatest metamorphosis in women's basketball history, but she also became one of its most intriguing tales. And now, after spending years at the center of the Caitlin Clark hurricane, she has finally shared her experiences. The actual one, not the polished media version. And no one really anticipated what she disclosed. You need to know where Lexie Hull was before Caitlin Clark even entered Gainbridge Fieldhouse before any of this makes sense. The Indiana Fever selected Hull with the 6th overall pick in the 2022 draft. That sounds like a dream on paper. Top 10 choices, 6th overall. A Stanford alumna who, in her final year, had won a national title, 3 All-Pac, 12 choices, the class award, and the top 90 honor for academic and athletic performance. This was meant to be the beginning. Instead, due to the adverse conditions during those early years, it became a grind that was largely unseen to outsiders and not quite as good. They were among the weakest clubs in the league since they alternated between losing seasons and missing the playoffs completely. However, Hull was forced to fight nonstop to remain on the squad, a circumstance that no young athlete wants to be in. Each and every night mattered. Every object had an ill meaning. She was aware of her fearful behavior. She scored fewer than 5 points per game on average over her first 2 seasons. She played for more than 20 minutes every night in her second year, although she only scored 4 or 6 points. The numbers are correct. Something was holding her back, and Hull would finally figure it out. Few athletes are ever as candid about their early years as she was. When I first started, it looked like they had to go in. Nothing to ease the pain. She realized how nerve-wracking those early years had been. There is little margin for error, no semifinals, and a losing culture. The stakes were enormous. As a result, everything mattered. Moreover, the impact of that kind of pressure extends far beyond your shot. It gets inside your head. It affects how you move, think, and breathe when you're playing. Hull was being suffocated by it, and everyone outside was ignoring the fever. But something happened that impacted not just Lexie Hull's career, but also the franchise's overall trajectory, and very likely the state of American women's basketball in general. The Indiana Fever selected Caitlin Clark with the 1st overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. If you need a reminder, here is a quick summary of Caitlin Clark's behavior at the time. Regardless of gender, the most decorated scorer in NCAA basketball history. A player who, by herself, obliterated decades-old records, made Big Ten women's basketball a must-watch event, and made Iowa Hawkeyes games into national television events with packed houses. The WNBA as a whole was about to discover whether the excitement surrounding her, which had never been seen for a women's basketball player before, was real. It was sincere. Her status as the league's most important player was cemented by her record-breaking fan participation and output during her debut season. Suddenly, the Indiana Fever became the WNBA's most watched, talked about, contentious, and well-known team. Media frenzy, sold-out audiences, and nationwide broadcasts. When Caitlin Clark put on the Indiana Fever tee, everything came together, and Lexie Hull was there the entire time. When talking about Caitlin Clark's impact on her teammates, this is rarely brought up. Beyond visibility, there were other considerations. There were other factors besides larger crowds, sponsorship deals, and the cameras that followed them. The biggest shift, according to Lexie Hull, occurs inside the lines during a game. Until you know what you're looking for, it's practically invisible. Compared to nearly everyone who has ever played this game, Caitlin Clark has a unique perspective on the floor. Coaches have fantasies about her because of her exceptional passing and court vision, as well as the way she draws defenders. There are no barriers in the way of open perimeter shooters. That was nothing short of freeing for someone like Lexie Hull, who had tortured herself over each shot attempt for 2 years. When you consider what preceded the transition, Hull's description of it acquires new meaning. "I'm aware that once Clark gets here, I'll get open shots. But since I've worked so hard to prepare for this, I don't have to worry about whether or not they enter, she remarked. I'll accept the result. That's more than just assurance.
Freedom is that.
The kind of freedom that is only possible after the pressure valve is eventually opened. And the numbers backed it up. In 2024, Hull's three-point percentage was 47.1%. It was a lifetime best and one of the best shooting performances in the league that year. Her three-point percentage fell back to 36.7%, exactly where she had been while in college, if Clark's death hadn't created those chances. The statistics express the narrative even more effectively than the words. But when you take into account that the alteration wasn't isolated to the court, this narrative becomes even more fascinating. This is because Lexie Hull and Caitlin Clark's off-seat. Many were genuinely worried about how she would adapt to a locker room full of strangers when she was drafted. Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall, two of her childhood pals. Her teammates were her closest friends during her 4 years at Iowa. In a room where everyone else had previously built relationships, she was the franchise's new face when she got to Indiana. The worry was genuine. Would she be a good fit? Would the current players welcome her, or would her attention offend them? And in reality, this is what took place. She and Lexie Hull fell in love almost instantly. They were hanging out off the court in Indianapolis at the end of that first season. As if they had been friends for years, they were laughing, sharing films on TikTok, and experimenting with different drinks. During the Olympic break, the WNBA visited Mexico. Fans loved the chemistry, which was undeniable. But by 2025, the dynamic had evolved to the point that it was referred to by a different name. What had been a duo turned into a trio when Sophie Cunningham was traded to Indiana in the off-season before the 2025 season. Clark, Hull, and Cunningham began referring to themselves as the Tres Leches, and their combined efforts produced some of the most popular and humorous content in the league. Clark's well-known Caddy's at an LPGA Prom event were Hull and Cunningham. They were always making fun of each other on social media. "We are so back," Clark commented on Instagram after sharing pictures from Fever Media Day. Hull retaliated by making fun of Clark's lack of sun exposure. He told People magazine that Clark may benefit from some sun in one of the most humorous remarks of the offseason. It was the kind of taunting that only occurs in friendships where both parties are truly at ease with one another. Additionally, it provided the WNBA fan base with an intimate look at the athlete's personality, something they had never really experienced. Hull also disclosed that Clark will attend her wedding, which has been planned since Hull and former pitcher Will Matt of the Pittsburgh Pirates became engaged in April 2025. Before being selected in the 6th round of the 2019 MLB draft, Matt was a standout baseball player at Stanford, where the two first crossed paths. Following baseball's retirement, due to a string of ailments, he moved to Indianapolis to be with Hull, which reveals a lot about the foundation of her life. Hull made the decision to confront a part of playing with Caitlin Clark that most people in her situation would have ignored or completely avoided. The 2025 WNBA season was one of the most contentious in the league's history, even if everything has been beautiful and delicious, and it's the part of the story that merits the most attention. Hull characterized Clark's arrival as having a specific air, a seriousness, a focus, and an edge that implied she had finished adjusting and was prepared to reign. Before the season began, Hull informed reporters that Clark had clearly changed in his second year. She is obviously there and prepared to conduct business. Hull claimed that initially, Reed appeared to be entirely correct. Hull is playing the best basketball of her career during the first 7 games of 2025. She averaged more than 10 points per game and had the highest three-point shooting in the WNBA at 55.6%. The Fever emerged as a coherent team at last. The injury then began. Clark missed several games due to his quad problem. Then there was a groin problem. There was then another soft tissue issue. One of the most devastating incidents of the season occurred on July 15th when Clark was hurt on the sidelines during a game against the Connecticut Sun for the 4th time in a few months. After giving it her all and witnessing everything fall apart, Clark appeared to be fighting back tears as she rose from the floor, draped a towel over her face, and leaned her forehead against the basket structure. And Lexie Hull was seated next to her, as a true friend does when words fail to convey their emotions. Hull later talked candidly about the WNBA queries and Clark's leadership role at the time. Despite putting forth more effort than anyone else in the building, she was irritated that her body would not cooperate. It was a challenging chapter. The Fever won even though Clark was sidelined for a large portion of the season. They persevered all the way to the WNBA semifinals when they defeated the eventual champion Las Vegas Aces in a crucial Game 5 that required overtime before Indiana lost. Hull's two-way persistence, which isn't evident in a box score, was a major factor in the run. Assuming command, making plays that kept games close when the team needed them, and protecting the other teams.